Daniel Matthews sat alone in the corner booth of Pinewood Diner, staring at the untouched slice of apple pie in front of him. Outside, fat snowflakes drifted past the window, coating the small Vermont town in white. Christmas Eve, the loneliest night of the year. At 47, Daniel had thought he'd have life figured out by now. Instead, he was spending the holiday in a diner, unable to face the empty house waiting for him. His daughter, Sarah, was spending Christmas with her mother and her mother's new family in Boston. The divorce had been finalized 3 years ago, but holidays still cut deep. He took a sip of lukewarm coffee and watched families bundle up against the cold, heading home to warm houses and twinkling lights. Once, that had been his life too. "Excuse me, mister?" Daniel looked up. A little girl stood beside his booth, maybe 7 or 8 years old, with dark braids and serious brown eyes. She wore a thin jacket that had seen better days, and her sneakers were wet from the snow. "Can I sit with you?" she asked softly. Daniel glanced around the diner, confused. "Where are your parents, sweetheart?" The girl pointed to a woman at the counter, head down, talking urgently into a cell phone. Even from across the room, Daniel could see the worry etched on her face. "My mum's upset," the girl explained. "Our car broke down on the highway. We were supposed to get to my grandma's house for Christmas, but now we're stuck here." She looked at him with those serious eyes. "You looked sad too." "My grandma says when people are sad, sometimes sitting together helps." Daniel felt something crack open in his chest. Here was this child, stranded on Christmas Eve, worried about him. "Well," he said gently, "your grandma sounds like a wise woman. Please, sit down." The girl climbed into the booth across from him, her feet barely touching the floor. She studied him with the frank curiosity of childhood. "How come you're alone on Christmas?" Daniel considered sugarcoating it, but something about her directness deserved honesty. "My daughter is with her mother tonight." Sometimes when families change, holidays get complicated. The girl nodded solemnly, as if she understood more than a child her age should. "My dad left when I was 4. I don't remember him much. It's just me and Mum now." She looked over at her mother, still on the phone. "Mom works really hard. 2 jobs. She was so excited about going to Grandma's. Now she's trying to figure out how to pay for the car and still have money for presents." Daniel's heart ached. He knew that particular strain of worry, that exhaustion of single parenting. "What's your name?" he asked. Emma Rodriguez." "I'm Daniel." "It's nice to meet you, Emma." Emma smiled for the first time, a gap-toothed grin that transformed her serious face. "You have kind eyes, Mr. Daniel, like my grandpa did before he passed away." "Thank you. That's one of the nicest things anyone's said to me in a long time." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Emma spotted his untouched pie. "Are you going to eat that?" Daniel pushed the plate toward her. "I ordered it more for company than hunger." "Please, it's yours." Emma's eyes lit up. "Really? Mom said we had to save money, so I could only have water." She picked up the fork with reverence, taking a small bite and closing her eyes. "It's so good." Watching her savor each bite, Daniel felt something shift inside him. He'd been so wrapped up in his own loneliness that he'd forgotten what really mattered. Here was a child who had every reason to be disappointed, worried, scared, yet she'd noticed his sadness and wanted to help. Emma's mother appeared at the table, phone clutched in her hand. She looked tired beyond measure. "Emma, baby, you can't just bother people." "I'm so sorry, sir." "She's not bothering me at all," Daniel said quickly, standing. "Please, join us." "I'm Daniel Matthews." The woman hesitated, then slid into the booth beside Emma. "Rosa Rodriguez. I really am sorry." Emma has always been caring like that. Sometimes too caring. "There's no such thing," Daniel said. "She's wonderful. She told me about your car trouble." Rosa's shoulders sagged. "Transmission's gone. The tow truck driver said it would cost at least $1,500 to fix, maybe more." "I don't have that kind of money," especially not right before Christmas. Her voice cracked. My mother is expecting us. Emma's been talking about seeing her grandma for months. And I promised her we'd have a real Christmas this year. I've been saving every extra dollar. Emma reached over and squeezed her mother's hand. It's okay, Mama. We're together. That's what matters. Daniel watched this exchange, seeing the love between them, the strength. It reminded him of the bond he had with Sarah. How, despite the divorce, despite the distance, they always had each other. He made a decision. Rosa, I own a car repair shop just outside of town, Daniel said. It was true. He'd built Matthew's Auto from nothing, working his way up from mechanic to owner over 20 years. My head mechanic lives 5 minutes from here. I know he's home tonight. Let me make a call. Rosa's eyes widened. Oh, I couldn't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. Daniel was already pulling out his phone. And Rosa, whatever needs fixing, consider it my Christmas gift. No charge. No, I can't accept. Rosa started, but Emma interrupted. Mama, remember what Grandma always says. When angels show up, you don't send them away. Rosa's eyes filled with tears. Mija, that's too much. We can't. Daniel held up his hand. Please, let me tell you something. I came here tonight because I was drowning in my own loneliness, feeling sorry for myself because I couldn't spend Christmas with my daughter. Then Emma sat down and reminded me what Christmas is actually about. Connection, kindness, seeing each other. His own voice grew thick. You two have given me more tonight than you can know. Let me do this, not because you need charity, but because we all need each other. That's what community means. He stepped away to make the call. His mechanic, Tom, answered on the second ring. Within 10 minutes, it was arranged. Tom would meet the tow truck at the shop, do the work tonight, and have the car ready by morning. When Daniel returned to the table, Rosa was crying quietly while Emma patted her hand. It's all set, he said. Tom will have your car running by 7 a.m. You can pick it up and still make it to your mother's by noon. Rosa stood up and hugged him, not caring that they were strangers. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you so much. How can we ever repay you? Actually, Daniel said slowly, an idea forming. I could use some company tonight. I was planning to go home to an empty house. Would you both like to come over for dinner? Nothing fancy. I'll probably just heat up some soup and make grilled cheese. But we could watch a Christmas movie, play some board games. Sometimes the best gift is just not being alone. Emma's face lit up like a Christmas tree. Really? Can we, Mama? Rosa looked at Daniel, searching his face. Whatever she saw there must have satisfied her, because she nodded. We'd love to. Thank you, Daniel, for everything. They bundled up and walked through the snow to Daniel's house, 3 people who'd been strangers an hour ago. Daniel's home, which had felt so empty and cold, suddenly felt warm with their presence. Emma explored the living room while Rosa helped him in the kitchen, and they really talked about life and struggles and hopes. Daniel learned that Rosa had immigrated from Mexico at 19, worked her way through nursing school while pregnant, and now worked as a nurse and a weekend caregiver to make ends meet. She learned that Daniel had built his business from nothing, that his daughter was studying engineering at college, that he'd been lost since the divorce but was learning to find himself again. They ate soup and sandwiches at his kitchen table. They played Scrabble and Sorry. They watched It's a Wonderful Life while Emma fell asleep between them on the couch. And for the first time in 3 years, Daniel's house felt like a home again. Around midnight, Daniel drove them to a nearby motel where Rosa had booked a room. As Emma, half asleep, hugged him goodbye, she whispered, "You're not alone anymore, Mr. Daniel. You have friends now." Standing in his driveway afterward, watching the snow fall, Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace, joy, hope. His phone buzzed. A text from Sarah: "Merry Christmas, Dad. Love you. Wish you were here." He typed back, "Love you too, sweetheart. Actually had a wonderful evening. Can't wait to tell you about it." Sometimes Christmas miracles come in unexpected packages. The next morning, Daniel went to his shop to make sure Rosa's car was perfect. He added new wiper blades, checked all the fluids, and tucked an envelope in the glove compartment, a cash to cover gas and food for their trip, along with a note, for Emma's college fund. Because kindness compounds. Merry Christmas. A. Daniel. When Rosa and Emma arrived, Emma ran to him and hugged him tight. Thank you for being our Christmas angel, Mr. Daniel. Thank you for being mine, he replied, meaning every word. As he watched them drive away, Emma waving from the back window, Daniel understood something profound. He'd spent 3 years thinking about what he'd lost. But last night, a little girl had reminded him what he still had: the capacity to connect, to give, to love. Loneliness wasn't about being alone. It was about forgetting that we all belong to each other. Daniel went back inside his shop, pulled out his phone, and called Sarah. Merry Christmas, honey. When you get home next month, I want to tell you about something I learned about angels and pie and second chances. Later that evening, sitting in his living room, Daniel noticed something on his coffee table. Emma must have left it before she fell asleep. A drawing in crayon, 3 stick figures holding hands under a star, with the words "Family is the people who sit with you." Daniel hung it on his refrigerator, right where a child's drawing belonged. Because Emma was right. Family wasn't just about blood. It was about who showed up, who sat with you, who reminded you that even in your loneliest moments, you were never truly alone. That Christmas Eve, 3 lonely people found each other in a diner and created something beautiful. A reminder that the greatest gifts aren't trapped in paper. They're wrapped in presence, in kindness, in the simple act of asking, "Can I sit with you?" And sometimes, the answer to that question changes everything.